You know we need them. We need those strategies for living. So are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Good. Things still falling out?
Not today.
No.
I've picked them all up.
You picked them all
They're
up.
all back in their appropriate places.
Oh, good. I'm
For
glad
now,
to hear
anyway.
it. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. People are saying, what? Hey, folks, welcome. Welcome into 1017 FM, 710 Keel. You have to listen every day if you want to get everything.
Get the inside
Yeah,
jokes,
get the
man.
inside on everything. You got to listen every day. Welcome in. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillan, and she is psychotherapist, PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillan.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm humming this song. You ever get a song in your head and you can't get it out? It won't leave for
Yes,
wmi reason.
absolutely.
That happened to you?
All the time.
Yeah. So mine right now is "Good Vibrations" by the Beach Boys. I would sing it, but then we would get canceled by the station. The station would send me
Please, you've sung before.
Yeah, and it's happened, and it's not a pleasant thing.
I like it. I think it's all right.
We talk a lot, Lauren, about our frequency, our vibration, and harnessing the power of energy. In quantum physics, I'm paraphrasing here. We're all vibration, right?
Right.
And
yes,
so
everything's moving.
So everything's moving. So that means everything's energy.
Right.
So we need to then understand energy. And if quantum physics is revealing that everything is energy, how do we harness that power? How do we take that knowledge and how do we
make it applicable and useful to everyday life?
Yeah, manage our vibration. I mean, I want those good vibrations that I've got stuck in my head, right? So, but what are some steps? What are some strategies, some practical steps and habits that we can use to elevate our vibration and our vibrational frequency? And, if we do that, I think we'll create for ourselves and for those around us a positive life, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
So we're going to talk today about using our thoughts, using things like the environment, and even gratitude to attract positivity. Several years ago there was a movie that came out. It's a great little movie. It's called The Secret, and it's all about vibration and how it's the law of attraction, basically.
Right.
Some people, might say, "Oh, that's just woo-woo."
Yeah, well,
but I tell you what,
the science is catching up, friends.
it really
it's
is.
catching up.
And even in that movie, scientists come forward and say, "Hey, let's take a look at this, and let's consider some of this." So we're going to consider today how to tend my frequency. Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Learning RX and Pintail Roofing and the Balanced Life Wellness Center. Back in a moment. We are going to harness the power of energy and consciousness today here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Dawnisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, Maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending. Learning RX Report offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Report. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child. So does Learning RX Report.
Hey, welcome in. Welcome into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. You know, on Strategies, we talk every day about creating a life that makes us excited to wake up, start every day. And that's our goal here on Strategies. Talking about vibrational frequency today. What?
It's all around.
Yeah.
And it's all there is.
It is all there is. We are energy. And, quantum physics is fairly new.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of us, including scientists and very smart people, are still trying to wrap their minds around all that quantum physics is attempting to teach us and show us.
Well, yeah, I think we're all still kind of grappling with what it really truly means. But the really cool part for me that I've noticed is it's bridging a gap. At least for me, that's a recognition that I've had, that this is perhaps a bridge between science and spirituality.
I think you're very much onto something. I mean, we're not as far apart.
And that's
science and spirituality are not as far apart as we have perhaps been led to believe in the past.
Well,
or people who have, scientists and spiritual people, religious people, have tended to think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget who said it. It was a scientist. I believe it's Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Heisenberg or Schrodinger.
Yeah.
He said, the first gulp of the natural sciences led me away from God. Right?
Yep.
Led me away from religion. But
Right.
at the bottom of the glass, God was waiting for me.
Hello.
I'm paraphrasing, but that's and that's been
That's beautiful, though.
It is, and it's been my scientific journey as well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I started my journey too.
Yeah.
And here I am now, very into psychology and the spirituality and remembering those little bits and bobs that would pop out to me in my chemistry class, in my neuroscience class, in my biochem class, where I was like, wait, did you guys hear that?
Did you hear what you're saying?
Hear that? Yeah.
So when we talk about quantum physics and we talk about energy, in quantum physics, all matter, everything is seen as energy vibrating at specific frequencies. And I mean, again, this confounds the senses. I mean, I look at this table,
right,
and I say, this table isn't moving. I in fact, I've got recording equipment on it.
But if
that's
you put
holding what
if
we're
you put
producing
it under
today.
a strong enough microscope, you can see the molecules in motion all the time.
Right.
And beyond that, I mean, this was Schrodinger's, one of his biggest principles was we can't even pin down where it is because that's how quickly everything is moving.
Right.
I mean, he had the idea, it's Schrodinger's box, right?
Right.
If we put a cat in a box, we can't know whether it's dead or alive.
Okay.
Okay, and it's the same theory with electrons, and it's specifically from his theory, but with molecules. We cannot pin them down to a charge, positive or negative, or to where they are.
Right.
It's all probability.
Right. And so even as human beings, and again, it's one thing talking about the table, but we're talking about human beings. Human beings are vibrational entities. So I look solid. I think I'm solid.
You are in the solid state, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
And yet the solid state is still a state of a bunch of moving atoms and molecules.
So we're energy. We're beings of energy, constantly both emitting and taking in, receiving vibrations based on our frequency. And that's a lot of what the secret and the thing that we were talking about, the law of attraction,
Right, and
is
kind
about.
of also what you're combining in there is another well-known law, and that's of resonance, right? If I have a tuning fork of 432 hertz,
Right.
and I hit it against something and make it vibrate, emit the
Right.
frequency.
Right.
If I get another tuning fork that's of a different frequency
Right.
next to it, nothing's going to happen.
Okay.
Okay? But if I hit my 432 hertz fork, make it ring,
Right.
and bring another fork that is tuned at 432 but hasn't been touched,
Right.
it will start ringing
Yep. Yep.
because it's resonant, it's in tune with the frequency.
And that's some of the energy that Stacy Slabaugh, our new sponsor
Yes,
at the
from
Balanced Life
Life.
Wellness Center, that's some of what that sound healing is some of what she is using.
She harnesses that on a biological level,
Right.
by literally tuning your body and your frequency.
Bioresonance, I think it is. Yeah, yeah. So it's amazing what we can do if we're willing to open our mind to understand, some of what we're talking about this evening.
Well, you might have to kind of blow your mind first. I feel like it's a stretch for a lot of people to get here.
Yeah, it truly is. And then we call in emotions into the mix.
Energy and motion, right?
Yeah, emotion, energy in motion. Our emotions directly affect our vibrational frequency, and they influence whether what are we broadcasting? What are we emitting out into our world, our environment? Is it positive or is it negative energy? And again, I know that's a relative thing. It's not something that we should judge from anybody else, but we can feel within ourselves.
Well, and I like to, on a frequency level, I like to define positive and negative in a way it's not about preference, right, or judgment. It's about positive means just integrative, meaning it's bringing together. It's leaning more towards oneness and wholeness, whereas negativity is in going in such a way that you're separative, seeing things as more separated or defined or dividing out.
So our thoughts actually shape our energy. I mean, we want to tune in. We want to do as much thinking about our thoughts and observation of our thoughts as we possibly can. A lot of us think that we are our thoughts. And yet, again, a little experiment here, you can take a step back mentally from your thinking, and you can actually, if you put your mind to it, you can observe what you think. Anything you can observe, okay, well, you're not that. Right. And so you can observe your thoughts. And so if you begin to observe your thoughts, you can begin to see and observe, there are quote-unquote positive thoughts of love, thoughts of gratitude, thoughts of hope. Those increase our vibrational frequency and attract positive frequencies. In other words, they attract more positive experiences toward you. Doesn't mean nothing's 100%.
No.
And
it's more about the tendency over time. Right. And in the accumulation of, in the grander scheme of things, how frequent, because we're talking about frequency, right? How frequent are you engaging with the more positive thoughts? And it's really less about the thoughts and more about the vibrational state that it puts you in. And you can feel that. It's an openness. It's a heart-centered, all of those heart-centered emotions that we feel. Compassion and gratitude.
And so if we're going to talk about the positive, we've also got to, we've got to talk about the quote-unquote opposite of that, which would be quote-unquote, air quotes, negative thoughts.
Yes.
Fear, anger, doubt. Those are going to lower our vibrational frequency and lead to we're inviting then more negative energy in, more negative experiences, and like attracts like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have to be slightly careful here, right? Because I don't want us to think that, oh, if I have a bad thought, I have to immediately change it, right? Because
Right.
again, it's more about your overall trend, but it's also about, beyond all of this, the most powerful frequency is that of authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so if you are feeling sad and you force yourself to have these positive thoughts for fear of, inviting lower frequency, well, did you hear that? It's for fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as long as we're doing things
Or it
we're
could
still
be-
doing things out of fear.
It could also be a control thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a good day, damn it.
Don't tell me what to do.
So did you hear that? I mean,
Yeah.
we're having fun with that, but
It can be-
literally
it can be-
it can feel that way.
Yeah, and it can be sneaky that way. It's very careful that we don't want to bypass. This is something we get into.
Right.
We can bypass important emotions and lessons that are available to us
Right.
through the experiences,
Right.
whether we're labeling them positive or negative.
Right. You can learn from everything.
Yes.
It's all you.
And it's about integrating it.
And so we talk a lot about mindfulness. Some people even would label this thought control. I don't like that word control as much. I would replace it with management.
Okay, yeah.
So practices like mindfulness, practices like meditation, those practices will help cultivate positive thoughts and cultivate maintaining a high vibration. Why? Because you're tuning in.
You're tuning in, and key here, in mindfulness meditation, you're allowing all the thoughts, positive, negative, whatever you judge them to be.
Right,
You
right.
are allowing them all, and that's the powerful aspect there.
Absolutely.
Saying you're invited and knowing that the divinity is in all of it.
Absolutely. And then, of course, it's the company we keep. The company we keep affects our vibrational frequency, because relationships, positive relationships, and surrounding ourselves with loving, supportive people tends to raise our frequency, tends to raise our vibrational frequency. But toxic relationships can drain our energy and lower our vibrational frequency and even impact our mental and physical health. We got to take a break, but I want to start here when we come back, because it's so the people we surround ourselves with. And we don't always have, a 100% choice here. I mean, I have to accept the people that are in my family, right? I mean, my
To
brother
some
is
degree,
my
yes,
brother.
yes.
I may have to, I have to work with certain people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I might have to accept that. But there's some things we can do
Within ourselves.
that can be magic.
Okay.
We'll come here when we return. The more we talk about making healthy choices, the more we can do it. And that's why we talk so much about it here on Strategies for Living. We do it daily. We'll be back with more talking about vibrational frequencies today on Strategies for Living. Stay with us. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's, thebalancedlife.us. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living here on 1017 FM, 710 Keel. You know, we take growth serious. We really do here on Strategies for Living. And hope we are presenting programs that help that out each and every day. That's our goal anyway.
That is the goal.
That's the goal. So we're talking about the influences, we're actually talking a little practical. I would call it practical quantum physics today.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. And strategies to take advantage of what we know.
How do we harness this? I mean, if everything is energy,
Yes.
which quantum physics tells us we're all vibrating. Mm-hmm. I'm seeking out, just like the Beach Boys told me, good vibrations, right? And so we're talking about how to do that. Well, our relationships, of course, are going to impact our energy. There's positive, there's negative influence. Toxic relationships can literally drain our energy. We talk about energy vampires, right?
Yes.
There are just people that, turns out they just suck the energy right out of us.
Yeah, and I have this is just an idea that just kind of popped in my head. Perhaps maybe part of the toxicity there is the idea that we are all here to be ourselves, to be who we are, right?
Yep.
To play our song. Our
Okay.
frequency,
Yep.
to send that signal out into the world.
Right.
And so anytime we're around people, places, things, or events that, by our own choice, we shut down or we are not fully who we are, we don't sing out our entire frequency,
Right.
our entire vibratory song in its fullness.
Right.
That's harmful to us and to the world.
Yeah.
And that's perhaps where the toxicity comes in on a vibrational level, if we're talking that.
To the degree that we can, we want to choose who we surround ourselves with.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned in the last segment, that's not always possible.
Right.
Our family members, some of our family members, we all have that crazy uncle or that crazy brother, right?
Right.
Or fill in the blank. But we got to, they're in our family. Or we work with, we work with this person or that person, and we can't go into the boss and say, you got to fire so and so because he or she is affecting my energy.
Right.
So you got to be able to learn how to navigate through that. But all of that, and I think this is what you were hitting on just a few minutes ago, Lauren, it's all opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not about getting rid of anybody. It's not about, it's about, you talked about going within.
Well, yeah, because here's the deal. Even if you are triggered or you feel like someone else is draining your energy, you still have a lot of power over that. And it's an opportunity to bring into your awareness places where you are leaking your energy.
Yeah.
And I might ask us to ask ourselves in those moments, I'm linking my energy there. How can I, put up guards or become more conscious of where I'm linking my energy and what belief is there in place that that I'm allowing the link to happen in the first place.
I'm just getting some imagery in my mind, and we talk about sometimes here on Strategies, I want to give somebody a drink, but if I don't have any water in my container, doesn't matter how much I want to give you a drink, I don't have it to give.
Right.
So in my mind's eye right now, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking of a big tank, like those tanks that we see around town that feed our water system, right?
Okay.
Those
water tanks.
Yeah, those water tanks, and I think we're going to paint them. Where they've painted them over in Bossier and made them attractive. I think we're going to do that in Shreveport
we got to
too.
compete, man.
Yeah,
got to keep up.
There you go.
Keep up with the Bossiers.
Yeah, ours are going to be prettier than yours. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, those things contain, I guess, hundreds of thousands of gallons. I don't know how many gallons each one of them contain, but a bunch. And I'm thinking that's kind of a metaphor for our life energy. We come into life, and it's an endless source of energy to us, but we have to manage. There's a finite within this container that is our mind body, right?
Yes.
We have a certain finite amount of energy. Now,
Well, and
I
you
can
know-
always tap in and get more if I understand
Yes.
some of what we're talking about
Yes,
today.
yes,
But I
yes.
got to manage what I have, and so I've got to be willing to learn how to do that. And that's the point of conversations like we're having today.
Yeah, I think that's a great metaphor. And as you were speaking about that, I thought of another one, and that's of electricity. I
Yeah,
mean, you have to
yeah.
wonder why, we are electrical magnetic beings, right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
I learned and I know throughout the nervous system, that's how messages are conducted through electricity and through chemicals, right?
Right.
And it makes me wonder, right? We have a spinal cord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it runs throughout
The entire body.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it branches off into the peripheral nervous system, which are
Right.
just the nerves that innervate the rest of your body. But
Right.
it all comes off of the spinal cord.
Right.
Right.
Runs to the brain and then connects to
And
every
so-
part of us.
And so perhaps a metaphor also could be the idea that in doing this inner work, you're actually making your spinal cord and the rest of you then more conductive and able to handle larger surges of spiritual energy.
Ooh, because that's the source.
That's the source,
you
right?
could go to.
And there, it's an endless supply,
Right.
but it's up to us to manage our ability. Okay, how much can I handle? How much can I bring down
Right.
into the world? And if you're leaking it off into these nuisanceries of I've got a belief that says I'm not good enough. Well, there's a
Right.
leak.
Right.
You have to wonder, right? What happens? What happens to an electrical cord when it's broken or when it shunts off somewhere?
You lose some energy.
You lose some energy,
power.
and you risk fire,
Yep.
like inflammation.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. This is all a metaphor and all.
Well,
just-
and back to the tank. I mean, if you knew you had, this tank that supplied you with water,
Yeah.
and it was plentiful, but you noticed there was a big old leak in that tank, and it was just water
Steadily
was just
dripping.
You would get up there and you would try to either fix it yourself or you would find somebody
Yeah.
to plug that hole, right?
Yes.
And that's part of the point here. That's part of what we're talking about
Yeah.
too. Since we're talking about music and good vibrations
and spinal cords.
and spinal cords, that brings in the power of music on vibrational frequency. Music does affect our energy.
Well, music is vibrational frequency. Period.
Yeah,
it's
most
a
of us-
waveform.
Now, we may like different types of music.
Sure.
Some people may really be into classical.
Again, is that resemblance of the law of resonance? What we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
creating within ourselves is what we prefer because it resonates with us.
Yeah.
That's what we say with music, right?
That's it.
I
That's
love
it.
this. It resonates with me.
Yeah, and so we may be into classical, we may be into pop, we may be into rap. There are certain kinds of music that might have more that we may need to look out for.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. And you might think, oh, well, he's talking about rap. No, I'm talking about every genre.
Oh my gosh, every
Because
genre
every
has
genre.
some
I mean, think about,
interesting words. Have you ever listened to some of the words of the songs? I'm thinking like even 80s rock music.
Yeah,
have some,
or country music.
Have some.
Everybody's cheating on everybody and crying in their beer, and so I'm not being facetious here. I'm just saying, okay, well, you might think, oh, well, I listen to wholesome music, and I don't listen to that crud over
You
there.
have to be very careful with that too, because
Absolutely.
we don't want to get into judgment, because that's just a double-edged sword
Right.
there.
But positive, the music with uplifting lyrics and harmonies has the ability to raise our vibrational frequency, impact our mood. But there are certain music, certain music has negative themes or discordant tones, and that can actually lower our vibrational frequency.
Yeah.
You are one, and this is something that is wonderful today. So many people can make their own playlists now, right?
Yes.
Spotify and all of those, Apple Music and all of the other iTunes, all the other things available to us, right? Mm-hmm. You can make personalized playlists, so you can actually create playlists that raise your vibration. Mm-hmm. And, kind of give you a daily charge.
Yep. I actually have one, okay? And mine is called Come Home. Anytime I find a piece of music that brings me home, right, to my home vibration, raises me up, opens me out,
right,
it goes on the list, on the Come Home
list. Yeah.
And we can take advantage of all of those, not just music. I mean, there are good actual lyrical music pieces as well, but we also now know the powerful healing of just frequency, period. And you can find a bunch of healing frequency music. The ancients clearly knew this. Going back to, you can listen to sound bowls, Tibetan sound bowls and sound baths, where we're recognizing the power of those tones and frequencies.
Some people may not appreciate this, but, have you ever walked into your church and there would be, like, before the choir gets going and all of that, there's just kind of a soft meditative environment, and maybe they're playing Gregorian chant, let's say, over the loudspeaker system. And you'll notice if you really look.
It makes a huge difference.
Everybody's quiet. Everybody's, kind of there praying, contemplating, getting ready for the service.
Because what you're doing is you're setting the vibrational mood.
Right.
You're really, literally setting the environment for that meditative state.
Right. You're kind of tuning up, if you will. We are here on Strategies. The more we talk about making healthy choices, well, hopefully the more we do it. And that's why we talk about it so much. We talk about it daily here on Strategies for Living. And today we are talking about good vibrations. We're talking about how we've learned that through quantum physics that we're all energy, we're all vibration. And so we're talking about how we can manage that today here on Strategies for Living. We all want those good vibrations. More to learn, more to come. Stay with us.
Hi. This is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan here on Strategies. We're just helping us live healthier, happier, more peaceful lives, body, mind, spirit, and relationship. That's what we do on Strategies for Living. We're talking about this quantum physics thing, and it's all vibration. It tells us we're energy. We're all energy. So, okay, I'll buy into that, but how do I deal with it? Well,
What does that mean?
What does that mean? It means we're frequency, and if we're it's not as hard to manage as we might think it is, and hopefully that's what people are understanding as we're talking through this today.
Well,
it's as simple as managing the music that you play.
Right. I mean, if we're thinking about everything is energy, everything is frequency, so it's as easy as managing, the things around you, the waves around you.
Right.
I mean, just the waves that we see are visual, right?
And managing
Light
it,
waves.
managing it doesn't mean controlling or you got to stop that. No,
Right.
it means you taking responsibility where you can on the outside, but oftentimes on the inside of you.
Right, because we're not just victims, right?
Right.
We have this
There are no
great,
such thing.
Right, we
Yeah.
have this great capability within us to transform
Yeah.
energy.
We can-
I mean, because energy can neither be created or destroyed.
Right.
It can only be transformed.
Right.
And
There
we
you
are
go.
great, powerful transformers.
We're transformers,
Yeah.
and that's part of what we're here, I think, to do.
Yeah.
Make transformation in ourselves and in the world. So we can't talk about this without talking about media and our media consumption, our content consumption.
Yes.
So many of us are, when we put together the media, whether it's online media, whether it's on the radio, on television, what we watch on our computer,
What we read,
what
what
we
we listen
read
to.
on our what's on our iPad, media, watching inspiring and uplifting content can elevate our vibrational frequency and our mood. But the negative media, exposure to violence or fear-inducing media, can lower our frequency and, cause stress and anxiety. So again, I'm not saying, don't hear me say, oh, you can never go to another horror movie again. I mean, because, number one, our friend Wendell over at the
He would not
Robinson would
appreciate
not
that.
appreciate that. And I could understand why.
Yes.
We all like it's okay.
It's about management. It's about balance.
Right. Everything in balance and moderation.
Yeah.
You probably, and
interestingly-
Wendell would probably agree with us.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to a horror movie every day or a couple of times a day.
No, and you don't like it's one of those things you don't want to watch Criminal Minds all the time every day because
Right.
what happens? You start thinking that way. It starts to become a part of
Absolutely.
who you are and the way
Absolutely.
you see the world.
So choosing our media that resonates with positivity helps in maintaining a high vibrational frequency. Recently, you and I had an experience where we've laughed. The Queen of England is coming to visit. We've gotten our environment more in order, and we've had a good time. We've had a good time with it. But even before that, we took some spaces in our home,
Yes.
and we uncluttered them.
Yes.
And we did one of those spaces for you. We did one of those spaces primarily for me and to house our recording equipment.
Right.
We had some cluttered, disorganized places
yeah.
in our home that we had just kind of put. I think everybody has
Sure.
pockets of this, if nothing else, where it's kind of disorganized, it's cluttered, but the cluttering can lower our frequency. It can cause stress and distraction, and organized and clean spaces can promote a higher vibrational frequency, and that fosters more clarity and more peace in your life. And who doesn't want that, right?
Yeah.
So incorporating elements also into the environment that can be healing, things like plants, or can you open up the windows some, letting natural light in and positive energy, all of those
Imagery.
things can elevate your vibration.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of like to think of it. A lot of the Aboriginals, the ancients, they believed that everything had a consciousness, right?
Right.
And so the way in which we treat our stuff, our things, reflects back towards us.
Absolutely.
And if it's not well taken care of, if it's all in a pile somewhere, that's going to reflect back that energy of unkept or uncared for.
Yeah. Words, spoken words, language
That is
shapes our
powerful.
vibration. Words are energy. And so every word that you speak into the environment carries energy, even if you're just speaking it to no one. You're just saying it to yourself. It's still got energy that is going to impact and influence the vibrational frequency of the space and of others who happen to come into the space. And so speaking words of kindness, of love, encouragement, elevates the vibration. It attracts more positive energy. Most of us have had the experience at some point in our life of walking into a room, maybe a room of people, and we don't know what's going on. Everybody's quiet, but you can feel the tension. I mean, the old saying is, I could cut it, the tension was so thick, I could cut it with a knife, right?
Yep, that's energy.
And we've all had, and that's it.
That's energy at work.
That shows you the efficacy of what we're talking about today. So, as much as we can avoid negative speech, negative language, criticism, gossip, cussing, those things are going to lower our frequency, and it can actually spread negativity to others. And we probably don't want to do that.
I certainly don't know.
We talk a lot about gratitude on the program, and that gratitude is a tool for elevating vibration. Gratitude increases, and expressing gratitude can increase and actually shift the focus to positive, raising our vibrational frequency.
That's the beauty of gratitude. It can turn any negative, quote unquote, negative, what you see as a negative experience, into a positive.
Right.
Because gratitude says, hey, I see you, and while that was very unpleasant, I can appreciate its presence and the lesson that it presented to me, and where I have been able to go from here because of it.
Gratitude aligns us with the energy of abundance, and whether we happen to be experiencing at the moment, our world is a world of abundance.
Yes, it
and
is.
So gratitude aligns us with that energy of abundance, which enhances the effectiveness of the law of attraction to work for us.
It's the great lubricant.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we talk about stuff like this, it's talking about how do we be healthy? How do we make healthier choices? That's why we talk about stuff like raising your vibration here on Strategies for Living. We've got a little more. Come back with us. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com. Yeah, well, Strategies for Living. Welcome back. We do healthy here. We do peace here. We are questing for a better life for all of us right here on Strategies for Living. Welcome back in here on 101.7 FM 710 Keel. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking about your vibrational frequency today and how do we manage it? How do we, pardon the pun, tune in? Yeah. Consciousness, conscious living, right?
Yes.
Consciously tending our environment.
Yeah, the idea that we're all energy and that we are the intelligence able to observe the energy tells us how powerful we are as beings, right? And so for me, one of my takeaways from today is to bring me back to my powerful intelligence in such a way that in each moment in life, how can I be more conscious?
Right.
How can I infuse?
How can you practice that more? It's a continuous practice of raising and also maintaining our vibration. It's a lifelong practice. You know, we're not going for perfection because that's not possible, but we're here to learn.
Yeah.
And we're here to grow.
And with each quote unquote negative experience, how am I integrating that? How am I bringing that into the wholeness of my being?
Right.
Because it's by that which I expand in a more positive direction.
Higher vibrational frequency attracts positive experiences, positive relationships, and more opportunities into our life. And that's manifesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
Recognizing that each opportunity is a chance to come towards the port of unity.
Absolutely. Oh, I like that. I like that.
My friends gave me that one.
Yeah. Tell your friends we said thank you.
I will.
Yeah. Hey, folks, thank you. Thank you for being a part of Strategies for Living. We do this each and every day for you, and we can do it because of our wonderful sponsors, the Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Learning RX and Pintail Roofing and the Balanced Life Wellness Center. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? What would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time, right here on Strategies for Living.